Thank you, Mr Speaker. I rise to congratulate you as Speaker of the House of Representatives, and it's an honour to do so on behalf of the crossbench. It is the highest office in this chamber and one that you have shown yourself to be truly worthy of. When you were first elected to be the Speaker, you said your door would always be open, and I want to place on record that that has absolutely been the case. Speaker, you have been available to members across the chamber, as we've heard from the member for Layla and the member for Riverina. You've been available for advice, for guidance, for counsel, and at times you have had the humility to ask for counsel yourself. Just as importantly, you've opened the door to the Australian public. During your term as Speaker, you've hosted frequent events in the Speaker's office, as we've heard. You've invited volunteers and school groups in, and you've taken the time to explain the role of Speaker with warmth and with clarity. And I've seen that personally. You've welcomed many volunteers from my office into your office. You've shared your time generously and given them a rare and exciting glimpse into this part of the building that so few Australians ever see. Members, this Speaker brings something else to the role in the fine tradition of the greatest speakers in the Westminster system, and that is a sense of wonderful humour. It is the hallmark of a truly great Speaker. When things get heated in here, as they often do, this Speaker can cut through with a smile, with a wry look, and with an excellent raise of the eyebrow. This Speaker reminds us all that leadership doesn't have to be loud to be effective. In fact, of effectiveness, I might say that this Speaker could well add something very special to the Treasurer's forthcoming productivity roundtable. Unrecorded in Hansard in the last Parliament, but audible to those who listen carefully, this Speaker was heard to remark one day in a particularly noisy question time that he could effect a swifter use of Standing Order 94A if the Speaker's chair was fitted with an ejector button. It's an excellent idea. It's one the Treasurer should consider, and perhaps the House as a whole. And I must say, for someone who loves Instagram as this Speaker does, it would make an excellent Instagram post. But, members, the seriousness of this role is not lost on this Speaker, especially when it comes to the culture of this place. The Jenkins Review was a landmark review in recognising the need for cultural reform in the parliamentary workplace. And under this Speaker's leadership, this Parliament has implemented key reforms. The establishment of the Parliamentary Workplace Support Service, the rollout of improved induction and training for all members and staff, and a clear and consistent focus on safety, respect and accountability. But we must also be clear, the Jenkins Review did not address how members behave in this chamber. That's governed by standing orders and enforced by the Speaker. And how the Speaker applies those standing orders, how they define and act on disrespectful behaviour, sets the culture of this House. And it's my experience that this Speaker has upheld those standards with fairness, with consistency, with impartiality and strength, and a willingness to challenge what have been entrenched behaviours. And finally, I draw the attention of the House to something that many others have said this morning, and that is his commitment to young people and civics education. In fact, I think it's fair to say that this Speaker is something of a cult hero to many young people across Australia. Last year, he travelled to the remote alpine towns of Marysville and Buxton in my electorate of Indi. I think other members have commented about the specialness of the schools in their electorate, but I would say for the Speaker, perhaps these were the coldest locations that he had visited. But he met with students there who'd lived through bushfires and who live in isolation, and he talked with them, not to them, and he talked about their place in democracy. I would say that in the electorate of Indi, and most particularly in Marysville and Buxton, that I'm sorry to say for the Speaker that they were no fan of pineapple on pizza, and they were not to be persuaded that the Speaker was from Queensland. No kowtowing from Indo. And as we've heard today, this Speaker has visited more than 160 schools across our vast nation. And under his leadership, for the very first time in Australia's history, we will have a national youth parliament. And this is no token gesture from this Speaker. This is structural reform. It brings young Australians right into the democratic process, not just to learn, but to lead. To the new members of this House, I say to you, you are in very good hands with this Speaker. This Speaker brings openness, humanity, integrity and real dignity to the Speakership. He has upheld the rules, and I'm so confident he will continue to uphold the rules. He has respected the Parliament, and he has helped restore respect for the Parliament among the people that we serve. I commend him wholeheartedly and congratulate him on his re-election, and I wish him the very, very best from all of us in this chamber, but most especially from the crossbench.